everyone, and welcome to our Broken Lives Silence Turkey program. I will be your moderator for today. My name is Beza. Before we start, I want to briefly go over the tragedies going on in Turkey. As most of you may already know, after the coup attempt in 2016, the Turkish government started wrongly accusing its citizens. Anyone who spoke out against the President Erdogan was jailed or even killed. After hundreds of innocent people were wrongfully persecuted, many did everything they could to escape the country, where they were having their basic human rights taken away. Families resorted to paying unreliable smugglers, crossing dangerous waters with their children, and many more dangerous options. Even those who managed to flee Turkey would end up with almost nothing in foreign countries. Today, we have some people here to speak about their own experiences and how the situation in Turkey affected their lives. Firstly, we have Abdülhamit Bilici. He currently lives in Virginia. He is a Turkish newspaper executive in exile in the United States following recent political turmoil and government oppression of the media in Turkey. Before leaving the country, Bilici served as editor-in-chief of the newspaper Zaman, the largest daily newspaper in Turkey. He was also chief executive officer of its English language version, today's Zaman. Bilici also served as general director of Cihan News Agency and editor of Aksiyon Weekly magazine. Let's take a listen to a story of coming to the United States in 2016, followed with a Q&A. You can go ahead, Mr. Bilici.
Hello. Good afternoon for everyone. I don't know if it is afternoon for everyone, but in my area in Virginia, it is afternoon. So I wish a pleasant day for everyone who are listening. So as you rightly said, Beza, I am a journalist for 25 years. I was last time editor-in-chief of Zaman Daily, which was the largest circulated newspaper in Turkey. So my newspaper was representing a lot of voices in society, especially those who are not much welcomed by the majority of the media or the establishment. So in a regular day, you could see in Zaman Daily columnists from a Kurdish background, from a liberal background, from a leftist background, telling their perspectives on the same topics that Turkey is debating or in the world agenda. So, and we were supporting Turkey to be a member of European Union, just to be a real democracy. So when you remember Turkish history, in last 60 years, we had 5 military interventions. So many people aspired to make Turkey part of European Union in order to get rid of all these coups and anti-democratic developments. So as well, we were supporting Turkey and in the world dialogue between different cultures and religions. So we were very much supportive of those ideas, and we were against fake news. So we were trying to invest on journalism, trying to be a reference paper for Turkey. And with all those policies, we were supporting the current government of Erdogan. And they were doing right things, and they were very much in line with what our editorial policy was. So they were supporting Turkey to be European Union member. They were supporting a full-fledged democratization. They were trying to support freedom of expression and human rights and economic reforms. So they had a very similar background or ideological background, as they were conservative and at the same time progressive. So these kind of principles brought us together, or we were supportive of his party. But after 2013, things changed because he switched from a democratic model or democratic perspective into an authoritarian perspective, silencing oppositions in the media, in politics, everywhere, starting with the Gezi protest in the summer of 2013. So it was a very big surprise. Until that time, until 2013, from 2002 onward. So my newspaper was 30 years old when I was the editor. So it was established in the mid 1980s. So we had that. I mean, with these policies, Turkey was a rising star in the world. It was very much supported and appreciated in the West and in the Muslim world at the same time. But things changed after 2013, and that had a very major impact on my life and on the perspectives of my newspapers. We turned to be critical of Erdogan government because they were not no more supporting democratization or liberalization or opening to the world, but they were turning their back to the European Union perspectives. So they were trying to establish a one-man rule instead of a democracy, and silencing critical voices in media. So since we started to be critical, they became an enemy for us. So they did a lot of things since 2013 until 2016. For 3 years, they put a lot of pressure. He called people to boycott our newspaper, not to buy it, and canceled press cards of our reporters. So they opened maybe more than 1,000 court cases against newspaper, against reporters, against columnists, everyone. And they were sending tax inspectors to put pressure on us. So all these efforts were to first to change, to make us to support their new policies. But these things did not help, and we continued to be critical. But in 2016, they sent a court decision, which is a kangaroo court. So with that, they appointed trustees to our board, and they came with a brutal police force, invaded our newspaper, and they fired me. They kicked us as editors and the former managers of the media group, and I was out. And under that conditions, they hired another editor for newspaper, which became a mouthpiece of the Erdogan government. And this is, we are talking about March 2016 now. So I was getting a lot of threats, and they were one of the regular threat was prepare your bag for prison, for jail. So we'll jail you. So I was advised to leave if I can leave the country. So I tried my best chances. I couldn't ask the government if I have still a valid passport, because they could revoke it or they can arrest me at the border. But luckily, in a midnight, uh, I bought a flight ticket just 2 hours before the flight time, and I got out from country to Europe, and then came to America. My family after me, they were also with some careful steps. They also left the country. This is, I mean, I am in exile here in America. I continue some little freelance journalism. I have YouTube programs. I use social media. I write some articles. So I continue speaking out against the oppression. But this is my story. It's a very little part of the whole story in Turkey. So in after March 2016, they took over our newspaper. 5 months later, there has been a notorious coup attempt in July 15, 2016 again. So after coup, the Erdogan used that as an further opportunity to silence opposition. So they shut down 200 media outlets, including my newspaper, which was already under their control. And they jailed more than 200 journalists. So they raided my home, but I was not at home. So if I were there, I would be in jail until that time. But a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues, reporters, columnists, very intellectuals, well, a lot of intellectuals of Turkish society now in jail. So some of them are having 10 years of sentence just for doing journalism. And overall, I mean, Turkish jails now are full of academics, lawyers, judges, journalists, teachers. So, I mean, list goes on and on. So this is a tragic story that in 5 6 years, a country that was seen as an example, as a model of Muslim democracy, as a rising star in the world, in the Muslim world, in the Middle East, turned into a country which is democracy destroyed, human rights violated very badly, and now we are talking about torture, killing teachers even under torture, and some people are getting life sentence just for sharing their opinions. So this is now Turkey is another example, again is a model, but it is not a good model. So, I mean, I urge people in the world, in America, including, to see, to study Turkey, that how a country in 5 6 years can be transformed very badly, and so that you can recognize. I mean, the jails could be full of educated people, politicians, as I said, journalists, academics. Now there are two members of the Supreme Court even in jail. So this is a tragic story, and of course I continue telling my story and this tragic story of Turkey. I still love my country. I think this will not continue forever, because I mean, with this destruction of democracy, human rights, and rule of law, Turkish economy is in a very bad shape. Turkish image in the world is in a very terrible situation, and the support for Erdogan is declining, decreasing. But still, the opposition is not, I mean, strong enough to challenge and to take power or responsibility. But I hope and I pray that Turkey can go back to democracy before further destruction.
Thank you so much. You explained it perfectly. We
Thank
have
you.
some questions we wanted to ask you. Um, when, in your opinion, do you think that Turkey started to move away from democracy more towards a dictatorship?
So, I mean, Erdogan was himself in jail in the late 90s. He was the mayor of Istanbul. He was jailed just because he recited a poem, and he was in jail for 4 months. So when he was out of prison, he said he changed his mind. He's now no more Islamist. He is aspiring for democracy. He likes Turkey to be part of European values, etc. So because of those values, he established his party and got the support of a lot of Democrats and liberals in Turkey and around the world. And I started supporting Erdogan because of that transformation. But uh, that continued from 2002 until 2011, 2012, or 2013, whichever you take as a turning point. But especially after the in the third term of Erdogan, their priority became more focused on not transforming Turkey into a better democracy, but I mean, he tried to make the party that was a coalition of a lot of people, tried to be one person, one man in the party, and then tried to create a system that he decides on everything. So he changed the country's political system from parliamentarian democracy into an executive presidency. So, I mean, when you look at the last, I mean, since 2011, 2013, his aim was no more democracy, but to create an autocracy under his leadership. One of the very important turning point was the Gezi protest. You know, when the Erdogan government wanted to construct a shopping mall on top of a little green park, in the downtown Istanbul. So people were protesting it, especially young people. They said, we don't need another shopping mall. This is a very crowded area. I mean, and they were expecting the government to listen to them because Turkey was a rising model of democracy. So to their shock and to the shock of all Democrats in Turkey and around the world, they silenced those protesters by brutal police force. Even some very young people were killed in those clashes. And after that, there has been another turning point, in my view. In December 2013, the same year, there has been a very big corruption investigation, which revealed that a lot of ministers and his family members are very much involved in a bribery scheme. So these are very important two turning points. I mean, Erdogan had two options. I mean, he could face allegations in a court, or he could destroy the courts, or he could destroy the free media. He could destroy democracy. So he picked this second option. So since 2013, Turkey is in a direction of destruction of democracy to save his rule, to save his family. So this is what we have now. So in my view, corruption played a very crucial role in his drift from a path of democracy. Because if you are corrupt, you don't like free media. If you are corrupt, you don't like independent, free judges. So that is the reason. So because of that, I wrote an article explaining how corruption destroys a democracy in the case of Turkey. So anyone who, especially Americans, if there is anyone in the audience, they can find with my name and with this headline, the article, that corruption is the main reason for that change. And the second thing, of course, the ideological reasons. So he was not believing in democracy. When he was the mayor of Istanbul, he was saying that democracy is a tramway. You use it, and then after some point, you can leave it. So this was his original or authentic understanding of democracy. In my view, after 2013, 2014, he went back to that old ideology. So the corruption and the ideological shift from democracy to political Islamism, I guess, are the main reasons, in my view, for this change.
Thank you. We know that Zaman newspaper used to be the largest, most successful daily newspaper in Turkey. What do you think one of the main reasons for it to get shut down was?
As I said in the beginning, if we continued supporting Erdogan despite his authoritarian rule, despite his corruption, I would not be in jail. My friends will not be in jail, and I would not be in exile. So I have no problem with Erdogan. I mean, no personal problem. So we criticized because he changed from democracy to autocracy to dictatorship, and as a responsible journalist, we couldn't accept that. And when there is a corruption, that amount of corruption at high levels of government, a journalist cannot shut their eyes. So we did what our job required us to do. So this is the reason why he turned against us. So if, as I said, there are a lot of thousands of journalists now in Turkey, I mean, they continue to survive. They continue doing their journalism because they did not criticize, they did not take position against the things that Erdogan government started to do, especially after 2013. So if you jail journalists, if you jail judges, if you jail academics, thousands of them, then a journalist is supposed to be critical of those things. So if you do that, then you are enemy. You are terrorist. So they call me terrorist because I do my job.
Yes. Shifting gears a little, we know that you moved to the United States in 2016. Before making the move, was there any specific moment where you made the decision of leaving Turkey?
As I said, there was, from 2013 until 2016, we were under oppression. So we were surviving under very hard conditions. But all of the time, we had the expectation that authoritarian policies could stop or could change, and we can go back to democracy. This is what I was expecting. So when we were struggling, despite all the pressures from the judiciary, from the tax office, from the ruling party, or from Erdogan himself, so this was our aim. We were saying that we do our job. This is what a journalist is supposed to do when there is such corruption, or when there is such dictatorial policies, or when the rule of law is destroyed. Journalists are expected to say the truth, to tell the truth to the power. This is what newspapers, why journalists are there. This is the first cause of their existence. So, but I realized when in 2016 in March, when they invaded my newspaper with a brutal police force, I felt myself very powerless, because your government is turning against you. I mean, the police officers are paid by my taxes, but they define me as enemy, and they occupy my newspaper, and I have no one to call to help other than God and the people, the honest people. So I thought it is not possible for me to continue doing my job, and I was expecting to be jailed, arrested soon. So in the first chance I found, I left country. So this is how I decided.
Last question before I let you go. Now that you no longer work for Zaman, how do you maintain your lifestyle in the United States?
As I said, I do little journalism. I did not quit from my job, which I spent almost, half of my life. So I love my job, and I like to continue in a professional setting as well. But so far, I do it in a, let's say, amateurish way, in a freelance way. I continue using social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and other channels. So I continue to speak at conferences, at universities, at think tanks, or other platforms. Especially, my first priority is to tell the human rights violations and the situation of the media, the oppression against journalists, because a lot of them who are in jail now, I spent more than 15, 20 years. So they are my very dear friends, and I know how innocent they are. So that is my biggest concern and biggest priority. So I try to help people to understand and to do something. To be their voice as much as possible. But of course, that doesn't pay the bills. So you give speeches at conferences, or you write some little articles, or you do some YouTube programs. But to pay the bills for almost 3 years, I do Uber, Lyft, some other tiny jobs. So I feel that this is a good trade-off. I protected my honor. Yes, I lost my job, I lost my career, I lost a lot of things, but at least I did not sell my honor. And I can do whatever I can in my capacity. Uh, so I think I'm not the only one in the same situation from Turkey. A lot of professors are doing things like I am doing. And in the world, there are a lot of people who are oppressed, who are persecuted, who lost their jobs, living in exile like me. This is not a new phenomenon. This is not a new case. So I feel myself as a member of a large and big, honorable people that are innocent but persecuted and paying a price for standing what they believe, what you believe, what you think true true path.
Thank you so much for
Thank you,
sharing
Beyza.
with us. Thank you
Have
for
a, I
everything
wish.
that you just said.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have Tarik from Columbus, Ohio. He moved to the United States in 2018 and currently works in a granite warehouse. So, Mr. Tarik, you can share your story with us.
Yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Tarik. I'm the one of hundred thousands victim who live many kind of pains, difficulties, and persecution in Turkey. And I think I'm lucky one because I could run away from Erdogan regime. Before I tell my story, I want to thank for this chance to tell my story and share my pains and difficulties in this life. Uh, After this, I can say that my story started in 2007 when I entered the police college. Police college is as you know, is a high school which is established to educate police chief. If you want to be part of the police college student, you need to join a high school examination. And I joined that examination. I was the top 1% of the examination. And so I gained the right to attend the police college. After my education in 2011, I started the police academy, which is the college part for police chief education. And then when I was the last year in police academy, of the process, the 17 and 25 December conditions. And some of the hero police chiefs found some corruption evidence about Erdogan's and his ministries, his family, and so they decided to fight for their nations against Erdogan because there was a big corruption and all resources for this for my country was wasting by Erdogan. So after that point, everything has changed for me because in 2015, me and my friends were dismissed by Erdogan from police academy, but I didn't give up because I owe my nations, my family, and people who live in Turkey something, and I tried to prevent that corruption. And I decided to join the university examination, and I was top of 1.4% of the examination, and I had a chance to attend Ankara Gazi University Law Faculty. And I little hurry up, the education for law in Turkey, it takes 4 years, but I complete the education for law in 3 years. After that, I start as an internship lawyer in Istanbul. After the internship process, I applied for be a real lawyer to Justice Ministry. but they didn't prepare my official paperwork, and I couldn't be a lawyer. After that, I think they prevent always to fight with all. They try to prevent me to fight with them always because two investigations started about me in Istanbul and Ankara, and in 2019 August, I got married with my wife Aysegul. I think I owed a better life for her because she wasn't a part of this act of hizmet or something like that. Always suffered all these pains for me, and then we decided to leave Turkey and come to United States. And then I started to work for granite fabrication. There is a funny story here. Before I came to the United States, my wife was worrying about the condition for us in United States. I said, no, don't worry. I can lift stone and I can take care of you. And then second or third day in United States, I start to lift stone. Maybe it's in Turkish word. And it's my story. I'm the lucky one, as you know. So I really worry about in jails, and that's it. I can say like that.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. Next, we have Dr. Bircan, an assistant surgeon from Cleveland, Ohio, who moved to the States in 2016. Go ahead, Dr. Bircan.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me for this program. It's going really wonderful, and I heard a lot of stories, and I learned a lot of things from those kind of valuable stories. So let me talk about myself. My name is Bircan Savran. I'm a pediatric general surgeon. So I was born in Germany, and we moved to Turkey when I was 9 years old. I graduated in 6 years from Pamukkale University. So I did a residency for 7 years of pediatric surgery. Then I became a pediatric surgeon in 2009. So I was the top of the pediatric surgeons in Turkey. I had a very successful academic background. So, for example, I did the first successful surgery for Martinez-Frias syndrome in the world. The characteristic of this case is that the newborn baby did not have 3 of its organs. The organs was gallbladder, duodenum, it's part of intestine or bowel, and pancreas. So the baby is still living. This is the first baby still living with this syndrome. And this case is published by Journal of Pediatric Surgery case report in the United States as well. The other thing is that I described a new surgical technique for some specific disease. Normally, the surgeons is doing the surgery for the disease with 2 incisions, but I'm doing just 1 incision instead of 2 incisions. The other thing is that I was so active person in Turkey for the volunteer events. I was a vice president of a health organization in Turkey. So I organized, when I was in Turkey, I think it was in 2011, I organized a health organization to help sick people in Guinea-Bissau. It's one of the poorest country in the whole Africa continental. So I was the vice president for this organization at that time, and we did over 200 surgeries when we were in Guinea-Bissau, and we donated a 30 patients bed, and we donated one portable ultrasonography devices because they did not have even one ultrasonography in whole country. So in 2016, Beyza, I came here with my family to do research at Cincinnati Children's Hospital on fetal surgery, because the fetal surgery was my dream. Actually, it was, I'm going to share a little bit actually funny story here. It was a 6-month program first. The program supposed to start in January 2016 and supposed to end in end of the June 2016. And my plan was to go back to Turkey in July, the first week of the July in 2016. But it's very interesting thing is that Cincinnati Children's Hospital sent me the documents as a end of date as a not June, sorry. They sent me the document that my research program is ending at July, end of July. So they did a letter mistake. They wrote on the paper July instead of June. Just 2 letter mistakes. Actually, the mistakes saved my life. So because, you know, end of July, then I bought flight tickets on 1st of August. So when, you know, the military coup attempt occurred on July 15, 2016, then I had to decide, I had the chance to decide to stay in the United States. So, and, you know, we had to cancel our flight tickets, and, you know, I learned that the cops broke into our house in Turkey, and they wanted to arrest me because I support the Hizmet movement. The Turkish government labeled me as a terrorist because I joined the, you know, military coup attempt in Turkey. So it's, you know, it's a kind of funny because I was in the United States. How could be a
you need to update Bixby voice to continue.
How could be attempt to military coup attempt? How could be, you know, participated in a military coup attempt when I was in the United States? Because the military coup attempt is occurring in Turkey. So anyway, they blocked my bank account, and I couldn't use my credit cards at that time. So the government also got our house and cars, and I, you know, in 2017 I lost my dear mom because of cancer. So and I couldn't even attend my mother's funeral ceremony because if I, you know, would go back to Turkey, 100% they would so arrest me. So I'll ask a question to the participants, and I would share my you know, feelings right now. So how could a person living in, you know, America for 7 months join a military coup attempt in Turkey? It's not possible, right? So the other thing is that how could a pediatric surgeon dedicated to save children's lives for 15 years could be a terrorist? So, and then, you know, my dream was to go back to Turkey after completing my research in the United States and establish a fetal center in Turkey, because there was no fetal center in Turkey in 2016. So that would be the first fetal center. And then my plan was, you know, the helping the family who they have birth defects, who they have children with birth defects in their, you know, belly. So that was my plan. I would create a team, a fetal team as well. So, but all my dreams were ruined, and I was stuck with $60 in my wallet in the United States. So I had to start life again from $60 in the United States. I was a really successful and rich doctor, and suddenly my life changed to a disaster. So at that time, our friends helped us to rent another house because we already left our previous house because we were going to airport to fly to Turkey from the United States. But I was, as Tarik said, I was one of the lucky person because my program supposed to end end of the June, but it is ended end of the July. Then that saved my life, because if I would go back to Turkey, probably I would be in jail, and maybe I would be one of the dead people in Turkey right now, unfortunately. So after a few months, I became a Uber driver, and sometimes I did Amazon Flex, as Mr. Abdulhamid Bilici is doing the same thing. I think he mentioned about it. So then when I find time to study my lesson and to take my test to become a doctor, so I did it. I studied my lessons as well while working to save my life and to save my family's life as well. So it was a really hard time for all of us as a whole family. But in this hard time, we supported each other, and I passed some of my exams, and I became an assistant surgeon. So we put our life back together, Beyza. And the last thing I want to say, we learned to be happy, and not because everything was good, but because we saw the good in everything. And thank you so much for listening me, and thank you for your patience as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Going through all the struggles and coming out stronger is a success. Next, we have two college students who didn't want to be named due to security issues. They made the move to the United States in 2018 and currently live in Columbus, Ohio. They will be sharing a presentation with us during their speech.
Hello. Hi. As you mentioned, we are two close friends who moved from Turkey to the US 2 years ago. And we want to share our stories about why we are here. It's hard to explain because lots of things happen, but my friend and I are going to talk about some main things that we are really affected by. I'll start with what's happened to me after the coup attempt in 2016. We were in high school at that time, and we were just 17. Our school, like you see in the slideshow, was shut down like many of others because of its relationship with the Hizmet movement. I still cannot understand why the government shut down many of those schools, high schools, and universities. My father was a teacher at one of those high schools related to the Hizmet movement, and his license was revoked after the coup attempt. He cannot work since then. Actually, he cannot even go outside because it's not safe for him. He is just hiding. If he is caught, he is going to be arrested. It's just because he's a teacher. I have not called him father as a precaution for 4 years. He is isolated by everything. He doesn't have even basic human rights. He does not have the right to live. So I'm sad for him. His life affects me a lot. There are lots of people like him. I know a lot of people. They're really in a bad condition. There are a lot of people in jail. I hope they can get their freedom soon.
On the other hand, I have another story.
After my high school was shut down by the government, I completed my last year in a different high school. When I was working on my university applications, my father got arrested in 2017. I remember the day my mother told me about my dad getting arrested. Even though my mother was sad about that, she looked so strong for us. After my father was gone, my mother took all responsibilities. I admire her because it was not easy to take care of everything with those feelings that she had. I have met a lot of women like my mother. Some of them got arrested with their babies, some got in custody while they were pregnant. They were innocent, but because they were against the president, they were exposed to this. Then, after 1 month, we went to the prison to see my father. It was 7 hours away from our home, and we saw him for just 30 minutes. I cannot explain my feelings right now, but I was happy to see him. I remember my father talking about people in jail. They were lawyers, doctors, police officers, and teachers. They were all educated people. And I also cannot forget about the children whose mother and father got arrested at the same time. They were lucky if they had relatives who took care of them. I hope they can get together soon.
And also, besides our families, we were not safe as well, because every person who is against the dictator President Erdogan is in danger in Turkey. If you want to live in Turkey, first you need to hide your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings. If you speak out for that innocent people who you love, you can be in jail or you're probably judged by other people. It's crazy, but that's what's happening in Turkey now. Hiding your thoughts, your beliefs is the worst part. I couldn't live like that. We were trying to go to another country from Turkey with my friend. We wanted to go anywhere. The only criteria was not Turkey. And then in 2018, we could come to the USA. And I remember when I first got to the USA, it's just that was the most relaxing moment I have ever had.
Now we are going to college here, and also we are happy to be here. But also we are worried about our families and other innocent people. Also, we are trying to do something here to make an awareness of what's happening in Turkey now. So that is our stories, and thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for sharing. Coming to a new country alone is a very brave thing to do. Good thing is you guys always have each other. With us next to share his story is Yavuz. He also does not want to show his face due to security reasons. He was wrongfully discharged from his military academy after July 15, 2016, and made the move here in 2018. He will be sharing his presentation with us.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Yavuz. I'm from Turkey as well. I work an online job. I came to USA about 3 years ago. Actually, there are certain reasons for me to come here. I was a cadet in military school in Turkey. On 15 July 2016, as a result of events that were shown as a military coup attempt, all cadets were discharged from military schools they studied. Government want to arrest us cadets for the coup attempt. I have a lot of friends who are arrested by government, but almost no military personnel, except a few officers knew about the coup attempt. There were officers who said there was a drill and wanted to take the military out of the barracks. Some of us were out, yeah, but nobody knew about the coup attempt. No cadet used a weapon because we were unaware of the events. Like all cadets, I was discharged. After that, the discharged cadets were arrested one by one. For me, this situation as me thinking about the future. I wanted to quit Turkey. Then I came to USA. In my time here now, the police came to my house to arrest me in Turkey. and you can see how I'm lucky now. A lot of my friends couldn't be lucky. A lot of my friends couldn't be lucky like me. I have been following the news in Turkey. They were torturing the people they arrested. We only learned from the media, Twitter, or organizations outside Turkey we could. Because media organization in Turkey do not encourage on this issue because they fear the government. Although here I saw certain difficulties to cling to life, but if I were in Turkey, this case would be more than 10 times maybe. I don't know. That's why I'm lucky than other people in Turkey. People who have been arrested are tortured here. And also, that's really important for me. Always I'm thinking about that. They arrest pregnant women. I mean, that's really, really harming us. Women have to give birth there. They have to give birth in jail. And children grow up in prisons. I mean, I don't know what to say about this, but that's really, really, really disgusting thing. They are also arrested while these people have no crime. They are not just torturing people who are arrested and associated with this situation. They threaten those people with harming their wives or daughters. That's why this situation is very, very, very, very disgusting for me. That's why people want to flee abroad. Many flee to neighboring Turkey's border with Greece. You know, since the number of refugees is high there, the living standards of the refugees there are very bad. They really need a lot of help. In short, a lot of people who are persecuted in Turkey. That's why I'm here. That's why I came to USA. Life is real difficult in Turkey, and also life is real difficult for a lot of refugees in other countries, especially in Greece. That's my story, actually. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yavuz, for sharing your story with us. Those are all the stories we have for today. But next, we have a high school student who will sing us a song. He lives in Columbus, Ohio, and moved here in 2017 from Turkey. His parents were teachers at schools that were shut down by Erdogan. They were forced to flee the country and start a new life in the US. Alp is here today to sing a song that he wrote himself about the situation in Turkey, right now called Yolumuz Aydın, which roughly translates to the light at the end of the tunnel. You can go ahead, Alp.
Hi, my name is Alp. I wrote this song for the victims in Turkey that basically talks about the bad days will like end and like the great days will come eventually. So, starting. Kavuşmak yakın, yüzüne kapılma sakın. Sakla gözyaşlarını, zalimler görmesin. Güzel günler yakındır, ümitle bekle. Aldırma tutanlara seni. İnan bana bu günler biter ve seni hiç ümidi kaybetme. Güzel günler yakındır, ümitle bekle. Aldırma tutanlara seni. İnan bana bu günler biter elbet, senin hiç ümidi kaybetme. Eğme başını güzel insan, bak ileri yolumuz aydın. Ayrılığın hasreti, gurbeti, sonu gelecek, üzülme artık. Güzel günler yakındır, ümitle bekle, aldırma tutanlara seni. İnan bana bugünler biter elbet, seni hiç ümidi kaybetme. Eğme başını güzel insan, bak ileri yolumuz aydın. Ayrılığın hasretin, gurbetin, sonu gelecek, üzülme artık. Sakla gözyaşlarını zalimler görmesin.
Thank you, Arp. And thank you. Thank you all for listening today. There are so many people who have been affected by the current situation in Turkey. Although there isn't much we could do, there is some. There are petitions, places to donate, and just spreading awareness does so much. My friends and I actually started a youth-run club to fundraise and help people who have managed to escape from Turkey that are financially struggling. We plan to organize many events and send the money we make to Athens, Greece, where a lot of refugees reside. If you would be interested in attending any of those events, we would love for you to follow us on Instagram at Young Hearts for Greece or join our email list. If you would like to donate, you can find the link in the chat. There's also a petition started by Enes Kanter, a basketball player for Boston Celtics. If you search "You Are My Hope," you could find more information about it. Also, if you're interested in learning more, go to huddledm.org. There's a lot of information along with personal stories, all in English. To wrap this all up, I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you who joined today. Just you being here, listening to this presentation, to our stories, means so much. You showing your support and showing that we're not alone in all of this gives us hope for a change, hope for a better future. We appreciate you all and thank you all for joining.